Lost in the dusty, dog-eared pages of American criminal history. Join us as we relive another gruesome, grisly, gripping tale of murder, mischief, and mayhem. Created and written by Justin Vior. This series is an anthology of turn-of-the-century banner headline cases before the days of high-tech forensic criminology. America's chilling, appalling, yet intriguing heritage of murder. Tonight's episode, Young Skeegie, Old Sparky, and J. Edgar. Episode 1.
American criminals are often copycats. These larcenous entrepreneurs like to get in on a good thing, especially when that good thing is a bad thing. Identity theft and home invasions are now all the rage. But during the ongoing depression of the 1930s, another type of crime exploded: kidnap for ransom. After the infamous Lindbergh baby kidnapping in 1932, an event one writer called the biggest story since the resurrection, big-name bank robbers added this crime to their repertoires. Machine Gun Kelly, Babyface Nelson, Pretty Boy Floyd, Alvin Creepy Karpus, and the Barker Gang all began snatching people off the streets. Kidnapping for ransom became a national epidemic. In 1933 alone, there were more than 2,000 cases across the country. Congress passed the Federal Kidnapping Act in 1932, giving the FBI jurisdiction if the matter crossed state lines. And many states adopted what were termed Little Lindbergh laws, requiring capital punishment, death for the perps. In 1938, a blonde 5-year-old tricycle-riding tyke went missing in the farming hamlet of Princeton, Florida, on the edge of the Everglades in South Florida. The parents, Bailey Cash Sr. and his wife Vera, were a working couple of modest means in their mid-30s. They owned and lived in a rooming house and operated one of the town's 2 gasoline filling stations. Their son, Bailey Jr., whom folks referred to by the family name Skeegie, had just been put down to sleep in his crib by his mother at 9:30 the evening of Saturday, May 28th.
Now, settle down, young man. You've had your stories for the night. I read you the funny papers, remember? You loved hearing about Popeye and Mickey Mouse, didn't you? And we looked at all the pictures. So now, my angel, it's time to go to sleep. Tomorrow night, we'll read Lena Pry and Superman and Red Ryder.
Dick Tracy?
Yes, and Dick Tracy. And maybe Flash Gordon.
And Flash Gordon?
But only if you go right to sleep. Good night, Skeegie, darling. Sweet dreams.
Bye, Mama.
Vera Cash kissed her son goodnight and headed out the back screen door, locking it behind her. As was her routine after putting Skeegie to bed, Vera walked over to the office of the filling station and general store the couple owned to help her husband Bailey count the day's receipts. As for tomorrow night's routine, though, well, there would be no Dick Tracy or Flash Gordon, and no Skeegie.
Good evening, gentlemen. Bailey, you ready to count?
Yep, just getting to that now, Vera.
Oh, hell, Vera. Let me finish my bottle of soda first.
Frampy, you'll nurse that knee-high till midnight like you nurse a cold beer at the bar. Skeegie's in bed and I'm tired. We gotta close up.
Sorry, Frampy. Franklin, you heard the boss.
Hey, don't worry, Vera. I'll get this varmint out of your hair. Come on, Frampy. There's a bunch of fellas holding court under the streetlight pole. Let's go.
Thanks, Frank.
Finish with my knee-high anyways.
I don't like counting money when those 2 idlers are around. How can they afford a knee-high when they barely have jobs?
I didn't say a word.
Frampy's in the bars more than he's in the pews. And that Frank McCall's always on the mooch. Oh, Bailey Cash, you didn't give those 2 layabouts free knee-highs.
Oh, gee, woman, look at the time. I am tired. Let's get that money counted. You want a grape knee-high?
Princeton was a farming town. A lot of unskilled laborers there made a buck driving fruit trucks or handpicking the orange and tomato crops. Frampy Braxton and Franklin Pierce McCall were 2 of them. Good old boys. In Florida, they call them crackers. But that night, while Bailey and Vera were counting the day's grocery and gas receipts, someone was at the back screen door of the house, looking for an easier payday.
Son of a bitch. Shh, 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 shh. Go on back to sleep now, Skeegie. There's nothing to worry about.
Oh, yeah, he knew the boy. He knew the layout of the house, too. There, in the dark, the kidnapper took out 2 pieces of cloth, one to cover the boy's eyes, and the other to shove in his mouth to stop him from crying out.
That's it. Now you stay quiet, you hear?
In the filling station office less than 100 yards away, Bailey and Vera were finishing up for the night.
Well, not a bad day. Got a fuel delivery coming in the morning. Gotta restock the pantry.
Oh, and the knee-highs in the icebox.
I'm never gonna live that one down, am I? Come on, bedtime. Now get the light.
They locked up and walked back across the driveway to their home.
Now, what is with this door? You locked the screen door, honey?
I always lock the door.
Skeegie? Bailey, have you got Skeegie?
Of course not. I am Bush.
He's not here. Skeegie's not here.
I must have just climbed out the crib
He
and...
never climbs out of his crib. Find him! Skeegie? Honey? Skeegie?
They checked every room in the house, every nook and hiding place. Checked the grounds outside, too. No sign. Down the road a piece, that group of good old boys were still talking beneath the streetlight when Bailey Cash came up.
Fellas, any of you seen Skeegie?
Skeegie? It's pitch dark at 11 o'clock. Why would we...
He's not in the house. We looked everywhere. No, he's gone.
Gone? Oh, Bailey, he must have just...
He's gone. You gotta help me find him.
Word spread fast. Soon a few dozen men were roaming the streets, putting out the word about the missing boy. And not long after...
Oh, Bailey, me and the kids just got back from the picture show in Homestead.
Beatrice Cash was Bailey's sister-in-law, wife of his brother Asbury, who lived a few doors down the street.
We heard Skeegie's gone. I found this note attached to the door handle addressed to you, Bailey Cash.
What's it say, Bailey? Read it.
If you have no note yet, go to the first house on the left on the first oil road south of Princeton and get note there. Now what the hell is this? Some joke?
Asbury's coming over. He was dead asleep when we got home. He'll drive you over. I gotta go see Vera. She must be in a state.
We'll all go with you, Bailey.
Inside the home, Bailey Cash tried to reassure his wife.
Everything's gonna be all right, Vera. Just try to calm down. All they want is the money, not Skeegie. We'll give them the money, darling, and we'll get him back.
Oh, how could this happen? Who would take Skeegie from us? Skeegie's sleeping in his crib. How could this happen?
About 1 a.m, a caravan of Plymouths and Model Ts, led by Bailey Cash and his brother Asbury, rolled up to the exact house that had been designated on the note. The house wasn't more than a shack.
Tell everyone to stay put. Asbury, you come with me.
Loose tar paper flapped from the sides of the structure as the 2 men stepped onto the termite-devoured porch.
Hello! Open the door! Hello! Well, let's break it down.
Bailey, look!
Folded sheets of paper lay stuck beneath the rickety door.
Oh, it's too dark. I can't read them. Let's use the car's headlights.
With trembling hands, the agitated father of the missing boy read the pencil-scrawled second note in the glare of the headlights of an idling 1936 Plymouth.
We have the child. You will follow these instructions. Notify any officer and you won't see him again. Place $500 $5 bills, 120s, $510 bills, and 10 50s. Total $10,000 in a shoebox. Leave Princeton Monday at exactly midnight and take this route.
The kidnapper, or kidnappers, had drawn a map.
Use old unmarked bills. Drive 20 miles per hour on full route. Watch for light flash 2 times. Stop car, place box on side of road and proceed. The child will be released in a few hours if all instructions are followed and no one notified. Any slip up, and you won't see him again.
This can't be happening. This can't be real. Bailey, what are you gonna do? We gotta call the police.
No, we're gonna do everything the note says.
Asbury's better sense prevailed in the matter, and the Cash brothers called the Dade County Sheriff's Department, where Sheriff D.C. Coleman placed a call to the Miami field office of the FBI. Neighbors and friends continued to scour the town for the missing boy, and hundreds roamed the streets.
Yeah, sorry to wake you so early, Agent Rutson. This here's Sheriff Coleman. Yeah, we got a situation in a little town called Princeton. It looks like a ransom kidnapping of a local merchant's 5-year-old boy named James Bailey Cash Jr., but folks call him Skeegie. We know the FBI wants in on things like this. It looks like another Lindbergh thing to me.
Rutson and several of his government colleagues, nicknamed G-Men, made the hour or so 25-mile trip from Miami south to Princeton and were at the scene of the crime mid-morning to meet privately with Bailey Cash.
Sheriff Coleman has requested our presence in this matter, Mr. Cash. We appreciate your cooperation. We'd like your wife Vera here as well.
Not now. She's laying down. Terrible state. She's a mother. You don't know how this has affected her.
I understand. Okay, we got the preliminaries. My men are already making rounds in town. I want you to bring me up to speed on your actions.
Now, I followed the instructions in the letter. The kidnapper told me to stand in front of the filling station in front of everyone and burn the 2 ransom notes.
My God, you didn't! Relax, Agent Rutson.
I'm not that stupid. I read the True Detective magazines. Now, he wrote the notes on torn-up brown paper bags. I got some bags from a store, ripped them to size, and made a big production of burning them in front of 200 of these goddamn crackers here in town, one of whom stole my boy away.
Well, now, Mr. Cash believes the kidnapper's a local, a neighbor right here in Princeton. I think he's right.
No, he must have been in that crowd watching that I'd burn the letters like he said to. Goddamn snake!
We'll need the real letters. Make copies and examine for fingerprints, clues in the text.
Tomorrow night. The note said I'm to drive the route written on the map and leave the ransom when he blinks a flashlight twice. 10,000. I have 8.
Don't worry about that. We're putting the money together for you now in the denomination specified. Random bills, but we'll record the serial numbers. It'll be delivered from the Miami office tomorrow. Don't worry about any of this, Mr. Cash. You're in good hands.
FBI Special Agent Arthur Rutson had a hunch, not about the kidnapping specifically, but about politics and getting in good with his boss, and put a call into the director of the famed, but not yet legendary, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Mr. J. Edgar Hoover.
Yes, sir? Yes, sir. Sir, what's that, sir? Oh, yes, sir.
For years, Hoover had been a low-level D.C. bureaucrat directing a 2-bit operation called the Bureau of Investigation. But over time, he built his personal pack of gumshoes into a national crime-fighting organization that would become the feared and famous FBI. But there were problems. In Washington, some in Congress didn't like the thought of a national police force infringing on state and local sovereignty. Underfunded, Hoover had to close half his field offices around the country and furlough hundreds of agents. But J. Edgar knew how Washington worked. He had compromising dirt on most of the politicians. And more than that, he knew the value of publicity. One good case, one big success that got the press and public cheering could save the agency he had schemed and connived for a decade to build.
Yes, sir. Now, I think this case here in Florida is just what we're looking for. Cute blonde-headed boy, working-class parents, lots of public sympathy. It's more than likely a local job by some bumpkin with a 3rd-grade education. Well, the ransom notes are riddled with mistakes. We'll find this guy. We'll wrap it up quickly. It'll be a public relations coup for the Bureau.
But Hoover would do him one better, not looking only to promote the FBI, but also his own reputation. The Skeegie Cash kidnapping was the first and only time J. Edgar Hoover left the safety and comfort of his bureau desk and went into the field to personally take charge of an investigation. Meanwhile, 48 hours had passed since the 5-year-old was taken, and midnight was moments away. Per instructions in note number 2, Bailey Cash left his home and drove the route along dark, local roads to drop off the $10,000 ransom money that would secure the release of his son.
Mr. Cash, come away from the window, please.
And most of the folks are gone. There's still a couple of dozen of them gawking around. I made them all promise not to follow me.
Good. My agents have heard them talking about breaking down every door in town and lynching the son of a bitch who took your boy. If all goes smoothly tonight, I hope we can avoid that.
I've been over the route so many times, I know it by heart.
Here's the shoebox with the bills inside. Double-check to what the note specified. Now remember, the route should take you about an hour at that slow speed. Watch closely for the 2 light flashes and stop the car. Someone will be watching you hidden nearby. Leave the shoebox. If someone approaches you, don't engage them. It won't serve any purpose for you to be taken as well. Here, a shoulder holster and revolver in case it comes to it. You're dealing with a criminal element. I want you to protect yourself.
I understand. And please watch over my wife while I'm away. And she's still keen.
Time to go. Car's parked outside, all gassed up. Lucky you run the filling station. Good luck.
They figured the kidnapper would be watching. From the street, a home, from somewhere in the darkness. Bailey Cash started the engine and pulled away at precisely midnight, driving 20 miles per hour on a circuitous route along paved streets and limestone roads around Princeton, through orange tree groves and tomato fields, past thickets and tangles of palmetto, vacant scrubland, waiting to see two quick, bright bursts from a flashlight somewhere in the darkness. But the signal never came. And Mr. Cash, who for the first 24 hours had stood strong and been able to hold things together, if only for his poor wife's sake, returned home a little after 2 in the morning, fearful and frustrated.
Well?
Nothing.
Nothing?
God damn it, I said nothing. No flashlight, no kidnapper, no contact, nothing. I did everything the note said. Every road, every turn.
Where's the money?
To hell with the money. The money's in the car. I want my son back.
Shh. We've got to keep this quiet for a while, Mr. Cash. Once your neighbors and friends find out.
Well, there's going to be a riot. Mention anyone they think might have done it.
And that might doom your son.
100 or so of the locals still milled on the street outside the Cash's home.
Did he find Skeegie? Did he get him?
No, came back alone. Didn't look none too happy.
They'll let the boy go, now that they got the money.
They better. Damn skunks. Feed him to the gators, I say.
What's Mr. Hilliard doing here this time of night? Oh, it's just McCall.
And what you say, boys? I couldn't sleep for worrying. I borrowed my pop-in-law's truck to come on over. Is that Bailey's car? Is he back? Did he find my little pal?
No, came back alone. Didn't look none too happy.
Now damn them to hell. That boy better be returned to his folks unharmed. I'm telling you.
What kind of demon in hell would want to hurt an innocent kid? But what'd he do to anyone?
Frampy's right. I say we break down every door within a mile and find him ourselves.
We all live within a mile, you idiot. Hell, I'll open my door gladly. Search all you like.
Hey, Harry. Hop in. I told my pop-in-law I'd fill the tank on this thing. Can't bother Bailey with that right now. Open the pump at Sinclair's for me.
Not at this time of night. We're closed.
I know you got the key. Get in. I'll see you fellas in a bit. Tell Bailey I'm thinking of him.
The Sinclair filling station was just up the street from Bailey's Standard Oil station.
Oh, quit your belly aching, Harry. Just open the office, switch on the pump. Let me get gas for the old man and we'll get back to Bailey's. Don't worry about the kid. They'll find him.
I hope they find them some bitches that took him, too.
I ain't counting on it. People like that are smart birds. All right, here we are.
Damn dark out tonight.
Hey, over there. There's somebody out there.
Where? I don't see...
Over there. The woods behind the station. What's he doing? Go in the office, Harry. Get a flashlight. I'm going after him. Hurry.
McCall raced across the lot and around back of the station to scan the tree line. Harry opened the office door, switched on the gas pumps, and rummaged around for a flashlight.
Wait a minute. I'm looking for it.
Never mind. He's gone. He must have slipped into the woods. But he was out there. I don't like to say this, but you know who he kind of looked like? Hey, what's this in your doorway?
It was a third note from the kidnapper.
Holy moly, Harry. I knew it. Come on, we gotta get this to someone. Oh, this is big.
But I thought you wanted gas.
But come on.
McCall and Wright hightailed it back to the Cash home and the feds.
And you say you found this at the Sinclair filling station, Mr. McCall?
Just now. Oh, that's where Harry works. Oh, it's gotta be from the kidnappers.
We went over to gas up Frankie's father-in-law's truck. Frank found it.
Well, that's right, I found it. In the doorway after Harry went inside and turned on the light. He must have missed it in the dark.
And this person you say you saw behind the filling station?
Wait, shouldn't Bailey be with us for this?
Yeah, Mr. Cash is upstairs with his wife. I want him to rest. I'm worried about the strain of all this on him.
But the note says he's got to go out again, tonight.
Yes, I read it. But right now I want to know about this person you saw in the dark where you discovered this third note.
Well, I don't want to get nobody in trouble.
Do you want to help solve a kidnapping and bring a 5-year-old boy home to his parents?
Well, of course. And I love Skeegie, too. We all do. But, well, it was pretty dark out there. I only got a glimpse. I could be mistaken.
Tell him, Frank. Tell who it looked like.
According to Franklin McCall, the figure looked something like his good friend, Frampy Braxton, who he'd been with in Bailey Cash's office 2 nights earlier. just before Skeegie was taken.
I'm just saying it could have been him. It looked a little like him. The dark pants, no hat on. I think he had a beard like Frampy's, but I couldn't see his face in the dark. Hell, I couldn't even tell if he was white or black. I'm just saying.
I'll have more questions for both of you tomorrow. Don't leave town. We'll be in touch. You can head home now. But tell no one about this. Not the note, not anything.
The kidnapper's third note was also written on a torn brown paper bag. It read, "Too many people around. Take the same route at 4 a.m., but first call in your spies. Put all the notes in a box for the money. Watch for the light blinking twice." Agent Rutson filled Bailey Cash in on this latest development. The clock was ticking. There wasn't time to examine the note forensically, to visit the filling station for other clues, or to check out McCall's and Wright's story. The scrawled instructions were clear. This might be their last chance to get the 5-year-old boy back alive. A short time later, at exactly 4 a.m., Bailey Cash got back in his car and headed down the street. All the would-be vigilantes had by this time gone home to bed. Cash drove into the night, alone. The route directed by the kidnapper was a 10-mile rural stretch of limestone roads. Skeegie's father hadn't even gone a mile when, out of the darkness, in a small orange grove.
Oh my God. Oh my God, is that it?
He thought he saw, 2 weak flashes of light in the distance. Then it repeated.
It is. That's it.
Cash got out of his car with a shoebox of money in his hand and stood in the glare of his headlights for a moment. No more flashes of light. He was now being watched. Taking a deep breath, Bailey Cash placed the box in a patch of weeds at the base of a telephone pole, got back into his car, and continued on with his route. Bailey Cash was relieved. He had followed his son's kidnapper's instructions to the letter. Now he'd get his boy back. An hour or so later, as the first hints of daylight showed on the horizon, Cash headed back into town, slowly driving the rest of the kidnapper's route. He slowed the car to a stop by the telephone pole where he dropped the money an hour ago. It was gone. But only time would tell, and not much time at that either, whether the kidnapper would live up to his part of the bargain and whether the 5-year-old Skeegie would be returned to his family, dead or alive. We'll find that out and more in the second episode of Young Skeegie, Old Sparky, and J. Edgar. Till next time.
Murder, Mischief, and Mayhem is an anthology of our rich American heritage of scandal, mystery, and murder, revived from the faded pages of history. You can find Murder, Mischief, and Mayhem wherever you listen to your podcasts. Created and written by Justin Vior. Narrated by Kevin Silva. Produced by Ed Adler and Ken Yaz. Direction and casting by David Rosenthal. Sound design and music score by Ray Soldick. Script supervision by Stephen Glennon and Maria Norris. This podcast is dedicated to the memory and inspiration of Dr. W. Keith Krause. Murder, Mischief, and Mayhem is the property and production of Ed and Ken's Excellent Adventure, LLC. All rights reserved.